Hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of my Sweet Peas Class to Go. This week I am starting a brand new Class to Go series on my blog. When you place orders between August 5th through the 11th of this year, you can earn this class kit for free. The class kit includes 4 adorable cards. We are on card number 3. We made, on day 1, we made this adorable sweet card, and on day 2 we made this one, and today we are making this adorable card, which I just love. This one might be actually maybe my favorite. I do love this one a lot. So we're going to make this one today, and if you want the class kit, there are 3 ways to get it. You can get the class kit free with a $50 order with the host code. That'll earn you that class kit completely free, and that includes all 4 cards. If your order is over $100, you're going to get that class kit for free, and you're also going to get 5 bonus cards for my basket. They might not feature the same exact stamp set as this, but there will be 5 bonus cards sent to you along with your kit. Now, if your order is over $150, don't use that host code. The other 2, you do need to use the host code, but over $150, don't use that host code because you're going to earn some rewards with that. But you're going to earn the class kit completely free. You're going to get those 5 bonus cards, and you're going to get a full package of the embellishments that we're using. And this week we are using the flat adhesive back pearls, which are just beautiful, beautiful embellishments. I love these a lot. Your kit will include the pearls if your order is under $150, but you get a full package if your order is over $150. So all other details for the class will be on my blog, which is linked in the video description below. Please make sure to check that out. My class will not include any stamped images. You will need to provide the stamp set, the ink, and yeah, there's no dies for this one, so you don't need to provide the dies, but if there were dies, you would have to provide those. But I will send you everything else. I'll send you all the die cut pieces like the labels. I'll send you all the DSP, but you will have to provide the stamp set and the ink. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into this little cutie patootie card. We're going to start with the stamping like we did in the other ones. Your kit will include a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch, a quarter sheet of basic white, and this is to use for your stamping on the images that you're going to fussy cut. And we're going to talk about fussy cutting the leaves in just a minute. I know I told you guys that you wouldn't have to fussy cut the leaves, but well, guess what? I mistakenly told you wrong, but I do have a workaround for that if you don't want to fussy cut that leaf. But I think it adds a lot of detail. So let's go ahead and start with our stamping. So we're going to need that quarter sheet of basic white, and then we're also going to need our piece of granny apple green, which is, oh, this is lemon lime twist. I'm sorry, not granny apple green. This is 1/2 inch by 4 1/4. So we're going to set that aside. We'll stamp on that in just a second. But let's start with our stamping of our images that we're going to color. So I am going to grab my large leaf, and we're going to ink that up in Memento, and we will stamp that. All right, and we have the little one of all of them kind of laughing and smiling and being silly together in their little pea pod. So that one will also get stamped on here. Okay, so there's our little images. And for our greeting, we're going to use granny apple green. So I'm going to go ahead and close this Memento up before I stick my hand in it. And we're going to use the same greeting as we did in card number 2, the one that says, "You make me happy." Now, there's a couple other images and stuff in here that we're not using. This little welcome sweet pea, that more for like a baby card. You could do this for just kind of substitute that for this one if you wanted to do that. You could substitute it for any of them if you need some baby cards. But that's the one I think that we are not featuring. I think all the other ones we are featuring. All right, so I'm going to move this as far over to the right, stamp it over to the right in granny apple green on lemon lime twist. So that really makes it pop. And let's get to some coloring. That's all of our stamping. Now, if you didn't want to fussy cut the leaf, which we'll talk about in just a second, if you didn't want to fussy cut the leaf, you could stamp it on the left edge of your label here and just color it just like we did in card number 1, where we stamped the leaf on the little tag and colored it on the tag. So you could absolutely do that if you don't want to fussy cut the leaf. But I love fussy cutting, so it's always more fun for me to fussy cut. So let's go ahead and do some coloring. So let me zoom in a little bit for the coloring. We're going to start with our leaf, and we're going to use granny apple green, which, let me find granny apple green. Here we go. I'm going to start with my dark granny apple green. We're going to color it the exact same as we did on card number 1, just kind of at the base where it meets the stem, and then just a little bit up that vein of the leaf. So no super fancy shading or anything on here. We are doing just some two-tone shading, but nothing that is overly complicated or super fancy. So real messy, as you can see. All right, and then I'm just going to go in and finish coloring those with my light. Just kind of go over the edge where the light meets the dark, just to make sure that they blend together, and then just finish coloring the leaf. All right, so quick and easy. I really love coloring with my Stampin' blends, but if you wanted to use a different medium to color with, you could absolutely do that. Just make sure you're using ink that coordinates. So if you wanted to watercolor, you wouldn't want to use Memento. You would want to use something like StazOn. Okay, so that's our little leaf colored. Super easy. All right, now let's get to our little peas. So for the actual peas, I'm going to use Lemon Lime Twist. I want to make sure I have the right ones. This is Dark Lemon Lime Twist. That's what we're going to use. And I'm going to just do kind of both sides of each of their little faces, the dark. Now, if you were, if you're an actual artist, I'm just kind of coloring these the way I think they look cute. But if you're an actual artist and you know where all the shadows and stuff are, you can absolutely, by all means, go ahead and do that. But we're just going to give this a quick brush of color. Now for this little tiny one down here, he's got his little tongue sticking out, so don't color that green. So just kind of carefully go around him. I'm just going to add a little bit more dark to each of them. And then we will just go in and fill in those with the light Lemon Lime Twist. And this one, he's got his mouth open, so don't color over his teeth. You don't want him to have green teeth. And just kind of fill these in, just kind of go over those dark areas just a little bit, just to make sure that they blend. But they are pretty small images, so the blending is pretty simple. All right, so that's Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to grab my dark Pretty in Pink and just give his little tongue just some color, just like that. And for the little outside of the pea pod, we are going to use Old Olive, just like we did in yesterday's card. I'm going to start with my dark. And this time I'm going to do the stem in dark, and I'm just going to do the whole thing in dark all the way up the stem. And then we're just going to just kind of go around the outside, just kind of a thin line around the outside of that little opening of the little pea pod. So not super fancy, and if you didn't want to do any of the blending, you could just color this in either light or dark Old Olive, and that would look great. So just kind of real simple around the outside. And then I'm going to grab my light Old Olive, and we'll just finish coloring all of that. Okay. So just blend those out. Just make sure you're going over those dark areas just so that they blend, so you don't end up with those harsh lines. But Stampin' blends blend pretty well, so it doesn't take much. All right, and that's all of our coloring. So it didn't take too long. Pretty simple coloring. So let's zoom back out a little bit. Okay, so we are going to do some fussy cutting now. Now, I just want to mention real quick with the fussy cutting, I've already have mine cut out, but for the leaf, you don't need to worry about the stem too much. I only stamped a tiny bit of the stem, and I cut off this little swirly part up here, this little swirly edge up here. I completely cut that part off. So don't worry about going around those. So you're really just going around each of the leaves. Okay, so that makes it a little bit easier. And then we have our little pea pods here. So let's get this card put together. Now that we have everything fussy cut, we have everything stamped, let's go over our pieces. So we have a peach pie card base. This is our same size card base as before, 5.5 by 8.5. And then we have 4 pieces of designer series paper. And this is from that same Unbounded Love DSP. And each of these measure 1 7/8 by 2.5. And then I have 1 die cut flower that is from the Unbounded Beauty Dies. And so we have that. So that's all of our pieces. So let's go ahead and get these stuck down. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of all of these. And I'm just using Stampin' Seal. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. I'm just going through adding adhesive to the back of these, just so we can stick these down. Now, there is no real rhyme or reason to getting these down. There's no order to them. I think I put this on the wrong side. Oh no. There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, so I'm going to come back and finish this one after I get it on the right one. So we'll just pretend that there's another square there, another rectangle there. Okay, so we're gonna put this on with dimensionals. So let's get some dimensionals out for our little label piece here. Our label will go on with dimensionals. Now, if you didn't want to fussy cut that leaf, don't forget you could just stamp it right on the edge of this label here. That will be okay. Okay, we're gonna stick that on kind of nice and straight. Let me get that a little straighter. Like that. And for our little pea pod, I'm gonna grab a couple dimensionals for the back of him. Actually, maybe just one long edge piece, and he's gonna go right along the left-hand side just like that. And for our greeting, I'm going to flag this end just a little bit. I'm actually gonna trim it just a little bit shorter, and then we'll just flag this end just like this. So just cut down the middle and then just cut from point to point. And this will go on just like that. And I'm not going to add any adhesive over here because I want to be able to slide that extra DSP rectangle in. So I will adhere this down on the right side, but you'll ideally adhere it down to the full thing, to the whole thing. And we're just going to just gently tuck that under the little leaf there. And yours will be adhered to the whole thing. Now for our leaf and our okay, now for our leaf and our flower, I'm just going to use some liquid glue real quick. And just a little bit of liquid glue down here. I'm going to stick that just right next to our little pea guy, and a little bit of glue for the flower. And we'll stick that on. I don't want to cover up my greeting, so I'm trying to kind of maneuver this to not cover up my greeting. So let me try to move this over just like that. There we go. I think that works. Adorable. And I'll make sure to add that other DSP piece. And then we're going to finish it with our pearls. You will receive these in the kit. If your order is over $150, you're going to receive a full package of these, and I'm using 3 on here. I put 1 in the center of the flower, and just a couple more. All right, guys, so that is it. That completes card number 3. I'm going to show you guys this one because this one is completed. So this is card number 3. We have made card number 2 and card number 1. Now, if you want the card kit, please make sure to check out my blog or the beginning of the details for the videos. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. Make sure to share this video with your friends, and I will see you guys tomorrow for card number 4. That will be our final video in this class to go. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.